If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option, as Sori says. $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, and shall lead them to buy our merch. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Narcisista. The warning. Let's do it. Looks like the audience knows what's up.
Ok, Ciudad de México. Quiero que todos griten muy fuerte por nuestro querido amigo Beto Ramos. No le veo el punto a pretender, no intento más, porque yo ya sé. Detrás de las cortinas ellos siguen hablando, buenas intenciones siempre salen sobrando. No creas que me engañas con ese estás. Porque tú no sabes nada, corres la
That must feel good to be able to do a
Muchas
song in
gracias.
dialect.
Talk to him.
Okay.
I love Ian. Ian's a gangster. Ian's a gangster. Let it go, Ian. Na, 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 na. Okay, so
You know what this reminded me of? You know, at church when people would be like, "Okay, we're gonna have to pray for someone. We gotta pray for so and so. Now she's been slutting around." You know what I mean? Like they'll make these prayer announcements, but that's because people want to gossip, and it's a way to.
They want to do it in.
Yeah.
They want halal.
Yeah. You got to kind of remind me of that because at the beginning she's like,
they say they
have to pray for me. So worried, but
so worried.
Yeah, but I don't see that they are praying so much. It's not for me. Quit your judging already. Stay away from me. And then she says, criticize me a little more. I find myself entertained to hear everything you say. Wait a minute. Hold on. Where was it?
I find myself entertained listening to everything they say. What they curse, let me laugh a little bit more.
It's right here.
You don't know anything. You spread the word and you don't shut up. I plug my ears and I just say, no, 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 no.
Behind the curtains, they keep talking. Their good intentions always come out lacking. Don't believe that you're fooling me with that disguise. So it's like they're Christian. They're religious people. They've got this disguise that they're like good religious people or whatever, but at the same time they're doing all this gossiping and judging her and judging them. Probably, I can just imagine they're part of some. What? Go ahead.
Well, that's what she feels they're doing. We don't know what the other perspective is.
You know what I'm going by? I'm going by other Christians that we know that have been in. You know what I mean? Like I've known a couple of artists that are Christians, and if they're not like doing the gospel songs, like. Southern,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We've got a friend who,
they have to pay the price. People are like, I don't believe that this is good.
They're actually way more effective reaching people for Christ doing what they're doing now, but they didn't do it in the approved way of certain religious people.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
It's one of the issues like in the modern in the modern age right now, especially with social media. Is like everybody and their mother's a narcissist now. It's like it's kind of like in the political world. If you disagree with me, you're a fascist. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing in like the self-help / whatever world. Like if you're a person I don't like, you're a narcissist. So everybody's a narcissist now. So it's like that's one of those like kind of loaded accusations or loaded questions that like once it gets tagged to you, there's nothing you could do about it. It's like if a person says, have you stopped beating your wife today? And so, like, there's no way to answer that question without condemning yourself. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like, if a person accuses you of being a narcissist and you say, no, I'm not, they're going to come back and say, that's exactly what a narcissist would say. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like this unfalsifiable diagnosis / condemnation of a person that you could now use as social currency to blackmail them into agreeing with you because now they don't want to be called a narcissist. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like I said, there's a difference between being an arrogant prick and knowing who and what you are and knowing what you're not. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't know who they are and a lot of people don't know what they're not. And so when they run into a person who does know those two things, they want to project their own insecurity onto those people and say, that guy's a narcissist. Mm-hmm. Like, these are diagnosable issues that you can find in the DSM. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like, it's not an opinion. It's not like, these are objective, observable scientific phenomena that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but now it's like, it's gone away from the realm of psychiatrists and psychologists and
it's just everybody,
trained,
that person,
and now
that
everybody
person.
and their mother because they listen to that Indian lady. Shout out to the Indian lady. But everybody listen to that Indian lady on YouTube. Now all of a sudden they're a psychiatrist and can diagnose your friend with narcissistic personality disorder. I just think it's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's better to have an expert on board on something like that because, super selfish people can easily be looked at as like a narcissist, but it's like that doesn't necessarily just because like if you're already having a problem with somebody and they're a selfish person, like you may more easily be like they're a narcissist just because it's like that's heading in the direction that you wanted to be upset with them because they're some way or whatever. So like, let's just call them that.
Yeah, it's almost like calling somebody racist now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you call somebody a racist, they go, I'm not a racist. Like, that's what a racist would say. And now, like, being a racist is like the worst thing on the planet. Instead of saying, like, that's probably something all of us struggle with to a degree. No,
Yeah.
only the worst people on the planet are racist. And there's like 19 million things you can do to become one. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the same thing with narcissism. It's like, okay, like, if we're going to, like, democratize that term and apply it to everybody we don't like, then we have to say that at some level all of us are narcissistic to a degree. But we can't say that, because the minute you say that all of us are narcissistic to a degree, now the condemnation and the finger pointing doesn't hold the same
as much.
weight.
Yeah. Facts.
I want to be able to condemn you, damn it. On the other side, though, there is such a thing as narcissistic personality disorder. And if you've had it, it is highly unlikely that you would know that you have it. So that's kind of the rub. It's kind of like, on the one hand, I think it's an overdiagnosed issue, especially when it gets to the, you know, civilian level like us. People are not trained in that discipline. But like I've seen situations where like dudes, not just their lives, but like the lives of their little militia, were all on the line. And they made the wrong, good decision they made a wrong decision that costs, I don't know, 12 the guy died and 12 of his closest friends died.
Oh my gosh.
And there was only about 24 people in the crew. I don't know how many people were in the crew, but it was pretty like 75%. Like the BD, like they were like,
oh my gosh.
and it was all based on ego, because like everything that they had was saying, do not make that turn. But if they didn't make the turn, then it would be, oh, you were, you know, so
you were what? You didn't get the job done?
You were afraid, you were whatever,
Oh,
which they would have been right to be afraid, because
oh my
that's how they all
gosh.
ended
Oh,
up
that's
dead.
awful.
But my point is, like, I'm like watching that and like being like, yo, this person is never gonna fall for that, and then having the OG be like, watch, they're gonna fall for it. You know, like he knew. It's like, I know this guy, blah blah blah. Like that to me is like narcissistic personality disorder. But even with that, they were like, no, this is their culture. That's why the whole narcissism thing to me is like, I'm not really, because in their cult, to me, like you have to be an absolute narcissist to like, throw your life away like that, and the lives of these people, like they got wives, kids, all types of shit. So like you got to be a real arrogant, like crazy, like dude to like do that. But they're like, nah, little bro, this is their culture. They're in a shame on our culture, and it'd be one of those things where if he didn't go and do that, that would be the end of him anyway. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my point is like the things that we assume, oh, that has to be a narcissist. Like, well, have you considered XYZ factors before you go and call them a narcissist?
Stop doing that. Stop banging the wall.
like, have you considered maybe there are other factors? You know, like there's
100%.
so many things that go into why.
Yeah, that's true. You
people
would
do the
have to
things
do
they
that.
do.
You'd have to factor in their behavior with their culture, because there are people within their own culture. Their own culture is like, that's a narcissist.
Right. And their experience, right? Like, you know, if I'm in Maine and somebody slaps me in the face, like that's purely ego. You turn the other cheek or not, right? In New York, if somebody slaps you publicly and you turn the other cheek, you have just signaled to everybody everywhere, I'm the type of person you can attack. Nothing will happen to you. So like, again, like the reaction to that kind of action, you might think is completely ego driven, but if it's happening in certain environments, it may just be, I don't even want to engage in this altercation, but I have to, because this guy watching is going to try to rob me if I don't display some sort of aggression.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, now you got these girls who were 12, 13, 14 years old in the limelight. They're in a completely separate culture than you. So there's no way you can relate to the experiences of these young women. So how in the hell, how can you say that they're handling their fame and all of this in a way that a narcissist would, as if you would do something different if you were 12 and 13, 14 years old. You see what I'm saying? Like, narcissists are like an X% of a population.
I think the fact that somebody is putting that much into judging these 12, 13-year-old girls, it shows that there's something going on with them.
Well,
I
again,
mean, how are you going to be...
I don't know that.
You don't know what?
Because we don't know what they're doing and what precipitated that situation. Because what I'm saying is, they're the protagonist in this story, so we're automatically going to take their side. But we don't know if any of them are actual narcissists. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like looking at both sides of it. Like on the one side, like, what if they were narcissists? How would they know? Because they're rock stars. Who's going to tell them that?
Yeah.
Right? But on the other hand, what I'm saying is you might interpret some of what they're doing as narcissistic, but look at how they came up. You're 12, 13 years old. Everybody in the world knows you. Everybody in the world loves you. People are singing.
And they weren't even planning on doing the band thing. And they just took
the
off.
lyrics to your song so loud you can't hear yourself. You think that you or most of us would have handled that in the most humble fashion possible? See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a lot more complex than just saying, oh, this girl's a narcissist, or saying, oh, those are judgmental people. Like, both of those statements carry with them so many assumptions on both sides.
Right.
Because she's condemning them for judging her. See what I'm saying? And they're condemning her and judging her. You see what I'm saying? So like, but because they're the singers, we're automatically going to take their side because they're the protagonist.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Whereas if they
That's why the thing when it comes down to what is your intention, if you break stuff down to people's intentions, so they're judging her, like you just pull back and you don't look at like the details. Okay, what are they actually doing? They're judging her. Then it's very easy to say, okay, what is she doing in response? Well, she's also judging them. Yeah, like you know, just both of the intentions. So if you have a problem with their judgment, you should have a problem with their judgment as well.
Right.
Unless you're saying, you know, she's responding to them. That can't be. They're the ones initiating the judgment.
I just think what I've learned is that between a narcissist and a judgmental person, that every judgmental person should say, there's probably a little narcissist in me. And every narcissistic person should say, there's probably a judger in me. You see what I'm saying? And like, if we could understand that about ourselves, then we could actually really start to communicate to where we could actually understand each other. But what happens is that I'm on the narcissistic side because I'm a giant rock star since I was 12. You're a judgmental religious person. That automatically means I'm right. And the other person is saying, I'm a religious person who's completely devoted to God. You're out there in the world getting all the, you know, the adulation of human praise. So I have the spiritual insight to know what's going on with you. But I don't have the spiritual insight to know that there's some narcissism going on with me. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's very, very hard, like the whole judge not thing, and then judging by the same standards that you want to be judged by. It's extremely difficult to do. But if we can do it, we can actually start listening to each other, and we can really get someplace.
Well, that lady that you were listening to, the one you bought her book, what's her name?
Which one? There's a lot of books.
Yeah, they're the most recent. The most recent
American
one, yeah.
Cosmic, yeah.
So
brilliant woman.
Yeah, she was talking about how like we experience things, like we go to the movies, and when we're in the movies, we know that it's not real, but we, even though mentally we know it's not real, we still react to it like it is real. That's why we'll jump in the theater, or when you go home after watching a scary one, you flick the lights and you want to leave the lights on, is because we, even though we know that it's not real, there is a part of us that's still acting as though, or believing that it was, there is some reality to it.
Going along with the fiction.
Yeah, so it's kind of an interesting way of looking at things. So I don't know if, you know, I was going to tie it into this somehow.
One of the things they were saying was that they were getting called traitors or whatever for singing in English. You know, like you're being a traitor.
Like that's being a sellout. Because
you're a sellout because you're singing in English.
But I mean...
So she gets called a narcissist because she's not maintaining the purity of her Hispanic heritage. But wouldn't that make you a narcissist about your Hispanic heritage?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, so now they're narcissists because of that. Like, hello, English is a dominant is a dominant language tongue on the planet. So What do you want them to do? Stay in a barrio somewhere in Mexico and never like expand?
People want to go where the money's at.
But again, but now
they want to make money off it.
But now what I'm saying, this is what I'm saying about our culture right now, is people just throwing out that narcissist thing, because like if you do anything for yourself, obviously that can go back to your ego, and we can't think with any nuance and think, well, there's good ego and bad ego. Well, we can't do that. As soon as we hear ego, we're gonna say it's bad. Yeah. I love the song. I thought the song was great. I love the na 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 na, because it was kind of like immature and childish. Which was kind of like them saying, like, you guys are being immature and childish. Like, what do you mean we're not going to sing in English? Then they did the song completely in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like... these girls have some gang shit, and they're extremely intelligent. They're extremely intelligent, so be forewarned. Don't mess with them girls. They don't need daddy. They don't need their brother. They will watch you. They will wax you and do it with such great harmonies and then laugh about it all the way to the bank. You better be nice to them girls. You go ahead and be great. 9.5.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna say. Let me go back to that. So with the whole what you perceive to be a reality becomes it's definitional of how you experience things, and that's how you look at them. And so if you look at the world where you're just looking at the religious people, oh, they're judging her, instead of realizing that she's also judging them back. She's setting up a paradigm or reality for herself that's just constant judgment on herself. It's not even a healthy way to look at stuff. It's very, if you could do like you were saying, like, okay, if there's some narcissism there could be some narcissism here, let me look at this a little bit differently. The more that we can look at ourselves that way, the more balance that we can get, then the better off that we are, because our minds can be healthier in a situation where we're balanced. So, we got to create, because if what we see and the way that we perceive things becomes our reality, because like you flick the lights on when you get home, then if you're saying that people are judging you and you don't have that counter narrative, then as time progresses, you're gonna engage with that differently. If you understand that you're like that too, then you can look at it a little differently, and you're gonna engage it differently. When you can see your own issues and stuff too. So I like this song. What do you give it?
Pablo said the entire world should be proud of them, and I agree. I mean, these are really girls that I could, a lot of girls like disappoint Zoe.
Yeah.
Because Zoe's got some pretty high standards. I feel like these girls, like she, would be a good.
Well, there you go. There you have it.
It'd be somebody that my daughters could look to and not be disappointed. So
that's a huge compliment.
Shout out to them. 9.7 for me.
This is a 9 point. I'm debating between two numbers. I'll go with a 9.7 as well. We'll be right back, you guys. We still have one more. The warning.
Shout out to all the new folks. Like, share, comment, subscribe. We will catch you on the other side of the break. We'll commercial break. We'll be right back.